Hello everybody. Sorry it took me such an incredibly long time to get back and make any more videos. I was just basically minding my own business, living my life, and kind of forgot that I had this project ready. I had material ready for a 3-part video series on deFooing, and this video is kind of a preparation for that series. I hope you guys will enjoy it and that I can keep making videos of okay quality. I have not been reacting much to comments, but I might get back to doing that as well. So feel free to leave comments and also share these videos if they are of value to you. Okay, without any further ado, I want to analyze in 3 videos the 3 different podcasts that form a series called Breaking with Corruption, which are FDR 347, 348 and 350. The claim that I want to look at in this video is whether deFooing is or was central to Freedomain's way of thinking, whether it is a central tenet of Stefan's ideas. In order to do this, I've selected 2 very early articles, really from the start of FreedomainRadio in 2005, titled Are People Just Stupid? And Why the World is Sick. I will also at the end quickly play a fragment from the podcast 589 called Examining the Family, tapping a message on the diamond-hard biosphere of the family unit from a bit later in 2007 to show that, he still placed a very high importance on deFooing. So here's a screenshot of the article. You can pause to read it. I'll just take just a few bits. So he's asking, he's saying, there is one thought that has occurred to every libertarian at one time or another. Are people just stupid? The great mystery is, why on earth are people so blind to the tyrannies that rule them? Another way of asking this is, if we're so right, why do so few people agree with us? Continuing from the same article. For my wife, everything comes down to the family. People can quite easily understand freedom, but the social cost for them to do so would be far too great, so they scorn it and pretend ignorance. As she puts it, if people grasped freedom, what would happen to their relationships? They'd have to break with their families, end their marriages, quit their jobs perhaps. Everything would have to change. Of all the relationships in your life, your relationship with your parents and siblings is by far the most likely to be completely screwed up. Not only that, but you also have absolutely no power to improve these relationships. Harsh? Not at all. Merely logical. So face it. Your parents were bullies, or weak couriers of favor, or manipulative emotional infants themselves. You have no respect for them. For respect requires courage, and courage requires logical morality. So yeah, this is interesting because Steph claims that in order to respect your parents must be courageous. To be courageous, your parents must know logical morality, and universally preferable behavior, which was only published in 2007, according to Steph. Finally proves objective morality. So before that people couldn't know it. So it follows that if your parents didn't know UPB, which is most likely, you cannot respect your parents. Let's continue. Steph writes, you are told to repair things with your parents, but that is an impossible task, a complete waste of time that will also make you crazy. Since they hurt you when you were young, you cannot fix the relationship. Does this sound too radical? Do you think it is extreme for me to say that almost all parents are horribly bad? Perhaps it is. However, if you look at the state of the world, the general blindness and the slow death of our liberties, the challenge you take on by disagreeing with me is this. If it's not the parents, what is it? Either the world is not sick, or parents are, because, as my wife says, it all starts with the family. If you want to perform the greatest service for political liberty, all you have to do is turf all of your unsatisfying relationships, parents, siblings, spouse, it doesn't matter. If you can do that, you can speak honestly about freedom. If you can't, well, then you have no right to complain about the government. You can't ask people to give up their illusions about remote political tyrannies if you can't escape your own domestic tyrants. So quickly summing up, according to Steph, the world is sick. It must be because of parents, and he says that if you disagree with him, you must demonstrate what else it is. Otherwise, it's parents. That's of course fallacious thinking. It can be a number of other things, and you don't have to demonstrate to, disprove this one cause. And the other thing he says is your political opinion or activism as a libertarian only makes sense or is valid if you first turf all your unsatisfying relationships with your, what he calls, domestic tyrants. Moving on to the next article, Why the World is Sick. He writes, talking about Christina. Her belief, of course, is that everything starts with the family. Politicians are mentally sick because they were treated badly as children. Raise the standard of parenting, she believes, and the world will be well. And there's no doubt that she is right. Parenting is universally abysmal. Children are ordered and managed, not listened to and understood. Even liberal parents shut out their children's unpopular questions and opinions. Politeness is a great scourge, of course, since it enslaves the child to the shallow opinions of vain people. Culture is another great child killer, since it inflicts false pride and empty conformity. Religion replaces clear reality with bullying language and hellish intimidation. Parental authority is a pure lie, since most parents are little more than empty incompetence, more than half children themselves. Now, parents have a great problem on their hands when they have children. There are so many things that parents believe that are not true, and here they have coming into their lives inquisitive, rational, empirical and honest creatures. How are they to establish their authority in the face of their own falsehoods, especially given the natural rationality of children? Well, either they must give up on their own illusions, or they must bludgeon the children's fresh minds with the ghostly clubs of their own fantasies. So, my wife is right, and I am right. The world is sick because of the family, and the family is sick because of fantasies have taken the place of philosophy. To save the world, we need better parenting, and to save parents, we need true philosophy. It is impossible to imagine that people who are benefiting from a scam will act to change it. Thus, it is up to the adult children to refrain from supporting parents who are not good people. And this includes parents who did not promote individuality and rationality in their children. Most parents, in fact. If we do not stop rewarding sickness, we cannot ever expect the world to be healthy. Okay, so summing up. The world is sick because of universally abysmal parenting. Steph describes culture as a child killer. He uses very violent language like parents hold false fantasies and have to, according to him, bludgeon the children's fresh minds with the ghostly clubs of their own fantasies. And he also claims that to heal the world we need to withdraw from, well, these horrible parents, and pretty much all parents according to him. And finally, from podcast 589.
How do you break the oldest dictatorship? And really that's why there's been this deFooing theme. And this is why, although the hardest thing other than deFooing is talking to people about deFooing, I think it's something that it's important to do because people don't even know that they can. They don't even know that it's an option. And it's going to be a slow, at least one generation. But people who've deFooed, or at least have heard about deFooing, they can at least know that their authority as parents is not an absolute.
Okay, so coming back to the central question of this presentation, is deFooing important at FreedomainRadio? Is it central? I suggest you make up your own mind about that. One sentence that stuck with me was, it all starts with family. Before I end, I want to point to an FDR Liberated article called The Foundation of FDR, which pinpointed me to the articles I used in this video. I hope you guys will check it out. The link is in the description. I also want to add a plug for True Sheeps, whose channel has been taken down, but there are mirrors online on YouTube. So I'll have a link for that as well in the description. Recently True Sheeps made a video on Steph claiming on the Joe Rogan show that deFooing isn't very central to FDR and that Steph doesn't talk a lot about it. But True Sheep's video picks from very many different podcasts to show that he does speak quite a lot about it. I will post this on my channel, so please stay tuned for that. I hope you guys will join me in the next 3 videos where I'll have a deeper look at how Steph describes this breaking with corruption, which in his eyes is necessary. It's essential to making the world a better place and for you to be, a real libertarian. So I'll see you guys then, and I'm looking forward to your comments.